Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fourth and Goal live show here at Main Event DFS. My name is Adam Cohn. I am your host. I am here bringing back my Fourth and Goal live show that I did over at Arbor Pro. This was my half-hour show prior to Sunday main slate lock, and I am here to help answer every single one of your questions here in chat. And on top of that, you can drop them here in YouTube chat. You can drop them in the Main Event DFS Discord, which you can find below in the description field below this video. Hit that See More button. Join the Discord. It's a free Discord. So, with that being said, join the community. Awesome community. Highly encourage everyone to join. This is going to be a super quick live show. I'm going to go over my player pool. I'm going to go over who I like and who I don't like, who I currently have in my player pool. I am still very much editing all my player exposures and everything else and projections, trying to figure out to get a lot of exposure to different players. I'm going to go position by position. In addition to going position by position, I'm going to be going over some strategy I want for this slate, some players I like, some players I don't like, games I want to target, games I don't want to target, and I highly encourage everyone to ask as many questions as you want. I will do my best to answer them before this live show is over. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm going to give a few moments and people respond. So, anybody? Let me do a quick test here myself. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to make sure we have sound. So, anybody? All right, we have sound, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent. So, let's go over my player pool. And I think it's something that's really, really cool. I always think my players' pools are pretty cool. But, in the meantime, let's go position by position. Once again, if you all have questions, put them in the YouTube chat. And if not in the YouTube chat, you can always post them in Discord. Just tag me in our Main Event DFS Discord. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. With that being said, let's do this. All right, so my quarterback player pool is pretty small. I am not currently getting exposure to a lot of players that I probably want. Like I said, this is still very live. I'm still very much trying to figure things out. But with that being said, I have Lamar Jackson, Stafford, Brady, Herbert, Cousins, Burrow, Wentz, Carr, Heineke, Tua, and Minshew. Now, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts has been ruled out for this game. Gardner Minshew at 4K is going to be starting, which I find very, very interesting. Gardner against the Jets, you really can't ask for a better matchup than a backup quarterback against the Jets. Here's where I have an issue with Minshew. I think this is going to be a very run-heavy game. I think, from what I can recall, Hurts and Minshew were splitting first-team reps. So I personally think it's going to be a run-heavy game. I think it's going to be a huge Miles Sanders game. Boston Scott is active for this game. He was dealing with an illness this week, so Boston Scott is active. I think Devontae Smith is going to be big. But Hurts dealing with his injury. What is Hurts dealing with anyway? Let's go back here to all. Real quick. Hurts is dealing with a... Yoo-hoo! It's an ankle injury? Yeah, Hurts is dealing with an ankle injury. So he's out for this game. Can't blame Nick Sirianni. It is, in fact, the Jets. So, guys I have a lot of exposure to currently. Matthew Stafford, I know, shocking. I'm going to have a lot of Rams exposure versus the terrible Jags defense. Brady, I got a lot of exposure to right now versus Atlanta. Atlanta's defense hasn't been as bad as in years past. However, Brady is absolutely somebody that I want exposure to on the slate. I got a little bit of Justin Herbert so far. I'm probably going to try jacking that up a bit. I want some Justin Herbert exposure. I also want Burrow on the other side. Both quarterbacks I want a decent amount of exposure to on this slate. Carson Wentz I've left in my player pool as someone I want to get exposure to on this slate, though this could just be another massive Jonathan Taylor game. Derek Carr versus Washington. Washington's defense all year has been terrible. I believe they've been a little better lately, but it's still, they're at home versus Washington. I think Derek Carr is going to have a good game here. He's only $6,000. Heineke on the other side of that game, I have in my player pool. I don't have any right now, but I don't mind Heineke on the other side of this game. Tua, I've got exposure to. So I'll tell you this. We'll go a little season long here for a second. In my season long league, my main season long league, I have Dak, who's my main quarterback, but he had a tough matchup this week against the Saints defense. I picked up Jalen Hurts, and then Hurts is out. So I'm like, okay, who's left on the waiver wire on a Saturday that I could pick up? Oh, Tua's there. So with Tua being there, I picked Tua. He's facing the Giants with no Daniel Jones, no Kadarius Toney. I think that Tua at $5,500 has a ceiling. Now, is his ceiling probably 20, 25 points? Sure. But at $5,500, I'd much rather Tua than Gardner Minshew. So, plus you could stack Tua with a Waddle. You can stack Tua with Gaskin. You could stack him with Devontae Parker. And stuff like that. So that is currently who I have for my quarterbacks. Any questions so far? Again, you can put them over here in YouTube chat. While I have everyone's attention, drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way there, every single time one of these podcasts or live shows drop, you all will be notified. And again, leave a comment down below on this live stream as well. This is a very interactive program. It's meant to be interactive as well. So with that being said, let's get into the running backs. This is a very interesting position today. For the running backs, I want as much Jonathan Taylor as I can get. Here's the problem, and I seen him run into this, and I got to just edit my exposures on a weekly basis. When there are a lot of good value running backs, like today, Alexander Madison, DK did a wonderful job with this. He is 7,600 versus Detroit, and I'm still getting 35% of them. Madison's a great play today. Sony Michelle. Again, DraftKings couldn't have known this, but Michelle being out. Sony Michelle, I usually cap my players at 45%. I like to get some variation in my lineups. I have Sony Michelle right now capped at 60%. He's versing the Jags. He's 4,300. The Rams aren't exactly hopeful that Henderson's going to go. 4,300 for Sony Michelle allows me to get up to like a Jonathan Taylor and Austin Eckler or Joe Mixon. Players like this, or more Cooper Kupp and higher on wide receivers. It's the mid-tier of running backs that I'm getting a lot of exposure to right now. Like, I have no Leonard Fournette exposure. I got to fix that. Barkley is $6,300 versus Miami. Now, look, Miami's been a really good run defense lately. But Saquon Barkley at $6,300 is an egregious underprice by DraftKings. We're going to take advantage of that in the slate. Eli Mitchell versus Seattle. Seattle's run defense isn't exactly great. I get some Eli Mitchell exposure. James Conner's probably where I'm going to get off. And probably get some Leonard Fournette exposure if I can afford it. James Conner, $1,500 against the Chicago Bears defense. Yes, I know they don't have Khalil Mack. That's a really good defense. Arizona's at Chicago. Kyler coming back on his first game. Hopkins coming back on his first game. Maybe they lean a little bit more on James Conner in this game. I'm probably going to lower my exposure to Conner. I'm not going to fade him. I'm probably going to lower my exposure to James Conner in this game. Excuse me. Gibson versus the Raiders at $5,700 is a great play today. David Montgomery, I currently have in my player pool based on the projections that I'm using. I don't know if I'm going to end up having Montgomery. Because you have Jamal Williams at below him at $5,400, who's a great play today. No Swift, going to get all the work. Miles Sanders, $5,200 versus the Jets with no Jalen Hurts. Just let that sink in for a second. And no, I'm not playing Boston Scott. Miles Sanders still a better running back. I have Rex Burkhead and Nyheim Hines in my player pool as well. I just put him in there. I know Indy's a great run defense, and Hines is in there just to get some variation off JT depending on how much I got. Sony Michelle, 60% exposure. That's what I'm maxing him at today. Wide receivers, I'm going to fly through wide receivers. All right? Here is how I'm going to fly through wide receivers. Justin Jefferson, I think, is a phenomenal play today if you can afford him. He's facing the Detroit Lions defense. Minnesota is projected at 27 points according to Vegas. I need to get way more exposure to Justin Jefferson. Cooper Kupp, not surprising. I got a 40% Cooper Kupp. Realistically, not surprising. There was a question in chat, and I'm going to tag this person in chat real quick. As I told this person in our Discord, I'd answer this question on the live stream. It's easier to talk about this than it is to type. So I'll have to get back to that question in a bit. Terry McLaurin at Las Vegas. I'm skipping Keenan Allen for a reason. Terry McLaurin at the Raiders. I currently have no exposure to. Fine. I'm getting a lot of Hunter Renfrow. Love that. Getting a lot of Chris Godwin. Great. A little bit of Mike Evans. I'm good with that. Jamar Chase. Absolutely an exposure to on this slate. Deontay Johnson versus Baltimore. I have him in there because all Deontay does every single week is put up double-digit fantasy points in every freaking game he's been in this season. Every freaking game. He's got a ceiling, and he puts up double-digit points. Fantasy points. So that's why Deontay's in my player pool. People are just like, oh, it's Deontay. Actually, look what this guy has done. Double-digit targets in every game this season except for 2. Think about that volume. Double-digit targets in every game he's been in except for 2 this season. That's incredible. Marquise Brown I have in there as a dart throw. It's still the Steelers defense. They still have Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's fine. The Seattle wide receivers I have in there was a just in case. It's like a GPP kind of play. Jalen Waddle I need way more exposure to than 10%. Devonta Smith is in there. Claypool. Other players I'm getting a lot of exposure to. Pittman, 20%. Love it. Higgins, 10%. Love it. Mooney, 5%. That's okay. Beckham, 15%. Russell Gage. This is one I wasn't sure on. I think Russell Gage is a sneaky good play today. Russell Gage is somebody that I don't know if Cordero Patterson honestly is going to be able to do anything today against the Bucs defense. I really don't know what to do in regards to that. I think Russell Gage is a sneaky good play today. He's going to get peppered with targets. Let's take a look at what Russell Gage did last week. 7 targets, 6 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. 18.2 DraftKings points. That was against Jacksonville. I get that. Week before that, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 49 yards. That was at New England. Sorry, home versus New England. I think Russell Gage is going to be heavily involved in this game. I think Russell Gage is a big beneficiary. I am including him, and the projections are agreeing in terms of usage popped up for him. I like that. Van Jefferson, Golladay, Green, Bateman, all players I just left in. Other players I'm getting a ton of exposure to right now are also Marvin Jones as a run back for my Ram stacks, and Devontae Parker. I'm going to very quickly go through tight ends. This is very simple. Tyler Higbee versus the Jags. I got 40% exposure to. Foster Moreau versus Washington, 25%. And the others up between like Pitts and Gronk and Gesicki and Uzoma and Cook. I got Andrews and everyone else in here. I want to try getting a little bit more Gronkowski exposure, maybe some Hawkinson exposure. But Higbee is your biggest beneficiary. defenses, the high-priced defenses are the best defenses on the slate. Rams, if you can afford them at $4,000, are someone you should play. The most defense I'm getting right now is Miami at home versus the Giants. They're facing Mike Glennon. 3,300. Gonna try paying up for them. I left the Bears in. Bears are at home versus Kyler's coming back. That's fine. I got Colts, Eagles, Cardinals, and Steelers as well. Because the Steelers are at home, this could be a lower scoring game. And Jackson may be making some mistakes. All right. Now that I have in fact waited, I hope this person is watching. At Ghost St. Patrick in our Discord asked earlier today, Keenan Allen or Mike Williams for DFS. Keenan Allen, $7,500, and Mike Williams is $5,700. Why the F is Mike Williams so freaking cheap? I'm going to boost projections. I want Mike Williams. Cash, I think Keenan Allen's a great play. Nothing about what Mike Williams has done recently says cash game. Okay, a lot of red here. That Pittsburgh game, remember that was that long touchdown that Williams caught at the end. Okay, otherwise it's been red too. Had a great start to the season. He's massively cooled off. $5,700. The target volume for him is still there. Last week at Denver, 8 targets, only caught 4 for 39 yards. I'm sorry. Mike Williams, phenomenal play today for GPPs and large field GPPs especially versus Cincinnati's defense. Keenan Allen is safer. Mike Williams higher upside. I prefer Mike Williams for GPPs to Keenan Allen for the upside, but Keenan Allen is a safer play. I hope that answers your question. Another question we got coming from Augustus Caesar here in YouTube chat. Favorite core for early only slate? Let's take a look at the early only slate. If you're going early only, I absolutely think Jonathan Taylor should be in your core. 100%. Excuse me. I think for me, it's going to be, since there's no Sony Michelle here, I think you start with Jonathan Taylor. You try getting in Miles Sanders, and probably Jamal Williams gets you a ton of upside and safety. Wide receivers, I would try focusing on seeing if you can get in Justin Jefferson. Maybe you get some Mike Williams to go with him. Jamar Chase is interesting for the early slate. I think T. Higgins at 1,500 is really early. Tyler Boyd is really interesting. Devonta Smith is interesting. Tight end. You don't get Morrell. You don't get Higbee. If you can pay for Gronk, I'd go with Gronk. If you're stacking either Cincinnati or the Chargers, I would pick the responding tight end. Either Uzoma or Cook. But if not, Gronk would be my target. And if not, it's Uzoma and Cook. Probably Cook over Uzoma for me. But I won't mind Gesicki or Hawkinson as well. Any last minute questions before I head off and continue to work on my player pool? Any last minute questions? And sorry for the sniffles, everybody. All right. Looks like there are no more questions here, so thank you for joining me here for the 4th and Goal live show. There may or may not be a podcast this week. I am not sure. For that, you got to stay tuned to my Twitter. And you're going to have to stay tuned to the Main Event DFS Discord as well. I will tag everyone in there. There is a chance that the podcast is either going to be out early, or it may not happen at all this week. I will let you know when we know that. Check my Twitter at AdamW. Excuse me, let's try this again. Check my Twitter at AdamWX21. And check on the Main Event DFS Discord NFL channel as well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.